Hi everyone, this is Deborah and I'm doing a challenge that's been set by Craftdawk, Janette, on one of my Facebook groups, and I will put the links in the description. So this is the February 2020 challenge, and she's given us a list of 10 things that we can use and also some things we can swap. So basically there are 10 things. There are 2 my choice. I've chosen in the my choice, I've chosen crackle paste and using that through a stencil. So I have a stencil here that I'll be using that through. I've also done a swap on the sharpies via the stencil, and I've swapped that out for washi. So I've got a number of washi tapes here. There's also a tip in, which is like something that, you know, flips in like that. So I've chosen to do that using the tag, which is the other thing you need to use. Also some stamps, and I've got some stamps here. Doodling, so I need to do some doodling on the page. I've got some really bright colour pencils, which are Marlene, Art by Marlene. We used them during that workshop that I did, so I pulled out those in really bright colours. For me, they're super bright. Also doing some splatter, and I've chosen to use my Distress Oxide spray to create that splatter. This is in a pink, it's in Tattered Rose. And the reason why I've got all these colours, I've also got some stamp pads. So I'm going to use stamp pads as one of my choice. So I've got Candied Apple and Worn Lipstick. So those 2 are my colours. And the colours we need to use are pink, red and metallic, in case you haven't already guessed. I've got my crayons, that's the other thing I didn't mention. The crayons I'm using are the Distress crayons, and I've got them in silver, gold and bronze, I think that one is. I'm not sure what. Antique bronze, yeah. So I've got the metallic, pink, red covered, and we can also use black or white gesso if we want to, but I probably won't. So I'm just going to do this in my Diane Reevely art journal. I haven't pulled this out for months, like really, months and months and months. So this is a really good challenge because I've been wanting to get back into my art journaling, and I keep getting stuck doing junk journals instead. So in my art journal, this, as I said, is the Diane Reevely one. Now I use a piece of card behind my page. I know that people don't, but I like to keep the pages that are coming up next quite clean. So that's why I use it's just the back of a paper pad that I use. So I'm going to start by, I'm not really sure. Okay. I'm going to start, I think, by using some spray. So I've got my Distress Oxide spray, and I've only just got this actually, so I'm just putting some, that's my splatter covered, there you go. And then I'm going to add some water. It's quite pale, this, quite pale. Just reach over and grab my, it's on the other side of the table. That's what I get for having a big table. Get my paper towel. I wanted to kind of blot that down a bit and make it really quite strong. I'll just cover this page here too, and maybe a bit more. It's a really pretty colour, this. It's very soft, but I think it's a really pretty pink. So that's called Tattered Rose if you're looking for that. And don't forget to shake your oxides and just cover the top of the lid. I was watching Tim explain this the other day. Cover the top of the lid so it doesn't splatter everywhere, and then you can give it a good shake. And that will mix, because it's a 2-part dye and pigment, that will mix them up. So I've sprayed that down, and I might put a bit more water on this one. I mean, this is art journaling, so it's sort of like, well, I don't really know what I'm doing yet. I'm just creating something which hopefully will be pretty at the end of the day. And I'm just going to dab some of that up so I get not quite so wet there on my thing. Okay, now I'm going to probably do maybe some stenciling. So I've got this stencil. This is a, which is it? It is a stencil. I wish they put the the thing on there. It's called Jewel Bids. I don't know why it's called that, but it's an Antinous, and I can't never say his last name, from Stamperia. Circuit board, there you go. Circuit board. I don't know why I've got that on there, but anyway. And the crackle paste. So I'm just going to put that down. I'm not going to do the whole stencil. I think I'm just going to do a little part of the stencil, and hopefully the crackle will crack when I let it dry a bit. And then maybe a bit more over here. I'm just creating some texture on the page with that particular thing. Hopefully that's going to crack. It's meant to crack. I might have to hit it with the heat gun, but we'll just see how we go to try not to, you know, touch it. I might work on my tag while that's drying a little bit. I've got these stamps. These are Tim Holtz Stampers Anonymous stamps, and this lot is called Theories. I waited a long time to get these, so I'm going to use the quote. This one says, "The greater the artist, the greater the doubt." And also this man. So he's like a high wire act, this guy. Now, of course, I don't have any black ink or anything to use, so I have to push myself, and I might use the candied apple. See how that turns out. If I don't like it, I can put something else over the top, can't I? Oh no, that's actually really nice. Quite like that, yeah. And then the little man, the high flyer, he's really good because you can actually manipulate this around. So if you want him curled up more, you can get, you know, get the tail of the wire. I've seen people do amazing things with this stamp. And you can also tip him, you know, whichever way you want. So I might tip him down in the corner of this page if I can. Put him onto a stamp block first. Now I usually use my stamp platform, but obviously you can't use that when you're working on a journal page that's already in a book. So today I'm going to have to risk it and hope I get a good impression the first time out with this. I am going to tip him so he looks like he's walking corner to corner on the page. And let's all cross our fingers that I've got a good impression. Oh, that's pretty good. He's kind of, because the page is wet and I've used Distress Oxide, he's kind of gone a bit arty. And he's got two wires there because I must have moved it. But actually, I don't mind that. He can choose whichever wire he wants to work on. Depends which one he's feeling brave enough to walk on. Okay. It is a really sort of grungy looking stamp anyway. It's not well defined, which is why I like them. Well, that and the fact that I love Tim Holtz's stamps as well. So I'm just going to now set this aside so it can dry a little bit. And then I'm going to work on the tag and see what I can do on it. And here's my tag, and I have no idea what I'm going to do. Let's see. I might be able to put another quote on there. Yeah, I might do that. Because this is going to flip in and out. So I'm going to put another quote. The quote I'm putting on is, just because my path is different doesn't mean I am lost. I think that's quite appropriate. And again with the candied apple. Okay. I would like to ink the edges with something, but I don't know. I've only got this to ink my edges with. I suppose I can use, actually I'll use the worn lipstick. And then I might use another stamp, I think. Take another one of the stamps that are in this pack. This is just 2 men. Now they're not going to fit on here, so I'm actually not going to stamp or colour all of it. I'll only colour it to about there so that I don't get the whole piece. And this time I'm using some worn lipstick as well. It's probably not the best thing to stamp with, but it's the only sort of pink and colours. I've actually got a red in an archive link, but I just thought that I'd make that. Yeah, so you're just getting a bit of impression. Because it's meant to react with water, it doesn't work too well for... It works fine for stamping if that's the look you want, which is fine because this is the look that I want. But if you're going for a crisp look, you probably need to go to, you know, a different sort of set of stamps. Okay, now what am I going to do with this? This is all too pink for me at the moment. Actually, what I'll do is I'll use some washi tape across there. This washi tape is, I think this one is Jane Davenport. I wish they put some branding or something inside. I'm pretty sure this is Jane Davenport, this washi tape. It's actually really quite pretty. I'm just going to rip it off there and see what I get. Okay. And then a little bit more down as well. That's, again, it's got pink tones in it, and that's why I chose it, because I wanted those pinky sorts of tones in there. It's not straight. I have to straighten it. Okay, and I'm just going to overlap them a teeny tiny little bit. Okay, so that probably needs to dry. You can see that, probably pick up on camera that that Distress Oxide is still quite wet. So I'm probably going to let that dry, and then I'm going to think about what I'm going to do extra on that to complete the challenge. Now that's all dried off, hopefully, and I can't see that it's actually cracked very much, although it does look a bit sort of funny in the jar. It might be a bit old. I might have left the air off it or something. Just wanted to see if I can rub this over lightly so I can see if it's actually cracked at all, because I can't really see any cracks in it. Worst comes to worst, I'll treat it like gesso. Yeah, I don't think I've got any cracks. Oh yeah, there's a couple of little cracks in there, but not many really. Rub this over too. Just lightly, so I'm picking up the pink colour. It's not actually... I'm trying not to get too much on the background so that it's only picking up the lines of the stencil. It's a really nice stencil, this one. So the last my choice will be this mixed media, Stampery mixed media crackle paste, and it's actually in gold, so it also satisfies the metallic part of it. I do have it opened. Again, I'm just creating some background with this for no other reason than to create some texture on the page. Because my palette knife's dirty, it's actually creating lines as it goes. It's meant to be smooth, but I need to clean out my palette knife. Some down this way now. Alright, I've put a bit more of the paste down as well, but now it seems to be dominating the page, and I probably don't want it to do that. So I'm going to add in some things to try and tone it down now, or brighten the other bits up, maybe I should say. So I'm going to start with my fluoro pencil. bit more of that distress spray over the top. This is my tag that I'll be using, so it's going to sit maybe here or somewhere like that. I'm going to use my pen to go around the outside of this now. Then I'm going to use the inside of the washi tapes to create some circles on the page. If you're not good at drawing circles, this is a cheat way of doing it. If it's not a very good circle, that's fine too, because I just bumped my finger as I went round, but that's all right. And I'm going to do some doodling words in here. I'm not a very good writer, so we'll see how this goes. I've created some circles on there and I've done some writing around the outside, and then I'm going to do some more here just to pull the quote out a bit and make it pop. Now this tag is going to sit here like this. You can hear that my voice is getting better and I'm talking a lot better, but I've still got a bit of a funniness because of my dental issues. This is a washi tape. I don't know if this is Diane Reevely. I think it's Jane Davenport, but I'm not sure, but it's one or the other. And then put a piece on the back and stick it down here. And then I am going to put a piece on the front to hold it in as well. So that's my flip in and out. And then I'm going to do some more on here. So let's put some washi down. It's really nice because it's all lips, the bottom part of the face, which is fabulous. I have this one here, it's little people, but I think it's going to introduce too many other colours in, and I really wanted to stick with this sort of pinky reddish theme that I've got going here. And I've got this little one too. I thought I had another one. No, I've only got the 3 of them. All right, we'll put a little bit more of this one down too. That needs to move. It's too much in line. Just go with your gut. If it looks good to you, it probably is. If it looks a bit weird, you probably need to move something, change it up a bit. And of course I've got this little metallic pink one, which I have to take the opportunity to use because I don't do much in metallics or pinks. So I thought this would be perfect to use this little washi tape in here. This is a Tim Holtz washi tape as well. It comes in a pack, you know, when you get like 5 or 6 or whatever it is in the pack. And one of them in all of the packs he put out last year, I think it was, he did a tiny thin metallic strip. I was like, what are you thinking, Tim? Seriously, what are you thinking? But it is what it is, so we have to go with it. And of course I have to use it now because it's in the kit, in the pack of washies. See, that's coming together, isn't it? Quite nicely. Put this one up here. And I didn't put it to the edge, so I'm going to do that. It's important to do what's called breaking the page, which I had forgotten totally about, which means that some of your things need to go over the edge. If they don't, the reader's, or the viewer's eye, not the reader, but the viewer's eye won't look at the whole thing. So you need to go outside and what's called breaking the edge. So go over the edge of the page, because otherwise you'll get, your viewers won't sort of view what you're doing. They'll miss some of it. I don't understand why. I just know that that's what you need to do, and that when you do that, you'll get a viewer looking at all of your page, not just some of it. I'm tucking this over the end of my page because I don't usually use the back side of my art journal. I only use the one on the right hand side. I know, that's a bit weird, but never mind. Just the way I am. Okay, let me check what I've got. So check against my list here before I move on. I've got a tip in. I think that satisfies that. I'm not sure. I've got stamps, so I've done some stamping. I've used a tag. I've done some doodling. I've used coloured pencils and splatter. I've used my crayons. Yes, I've used my distress crayons. And then I've used some gesso through a stencil and washi, and I've got pink, red and metallic. So let's just have a look and see what we're going to do extra on here. I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like this white, the whiteness of this. Let's rub some of this metal over it. Metal distress crayon over the top, so that you get that. Now I might do some enhance the lines a bit and the circles a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to create some circles. I'm just being careful because the art thing will actually run. The pen that I've used, looks like it might be not water resistant, so I'm just going to carefully do that. The other one. I think it needs some finish, so I'm probably just going to do some doodling around the edge. I'm not sure how well this is going to go. I'm not really writing anything, I'm just scribbling. In case you're wondering if I'm writing a sentence, the answer is no, I'm not. I'm just doing some doodling. Creating a frame around my page. And it all looks good except for this guy up here looks a bit sort of, you know, like he's sort of not part of the page. So let's try and bring him into the page by putting some more lines around him. And I could put some washi on this too to try and make it a bit more cohesive. You can see the crack. I don't know if you can see the crackle there. I will zoom in on that when I edit the video so you can see how that crackle paste is cracked. I'm just going to move that piece. I'm going to put that piece down. I'll put it here. I think that's sort of bringing him in, but not quite. I didn't use orange. I better stick with my colours, hadn't I? And where's my yellow? So I've said what I wanted to say on this page. So art journaling is a personal thing, and I've put these quotes on. Now I think that I could probably, there's a couple of spots I can see like here where I might just want one more quote. So I'm just going to grab the sheet back and see which quote I want to put on. Oh, I might put this one. I like this quote. Where's my red? Just using the candied apple again in the Distress Oxide. That says leap and the net will appear, which is quite appropriate for this particular page with the little man walking on the tight wire up there. I'll just look at this other one. What does this say? And I'll do this other one too. Hopefully I've got enough ink on there. Accept who you are and revel in it. That says. I might want one there. Don't put it upside down. There you go. You are allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. So I think I've used nearly every quote from this page. I'm just going to do one more just because now it seems to be a page of quotes it's turned into. And I want something up there with the man on the high wire. This says, live for the moments you cannot put into words. There you go. I think I'm done. Given that this is like really outside my comfort zone, it's actually turned out a lot better than what I expected. So I just want to say thank you to Janette, Craftdawk as she calls herself, for setting this particular challenge, and I look forward to seeing what everyone else does with this weird array of products that she's given us to use, and especially the colours. This is Deborah. I will see you next time. Cheers.